E from MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. It's about 10:15 on the 10th of April, 2019. So we're looking at that 91, which we said probably is where the boys would like to migrate this to test that high. And just above it, we've said let's use a couple points above it as our resistance. Anybody wants to short, make sure you're paid coming back in at by 85 and a quarter, which is the half gap. And anything below that, the good fortune part right now, we got about 2 ticks left for the gap, and the late close, I believe, was 82. So we've gone on that assumption that that's supportive and playing a range in between. And normally I like that high to hold and as resistance to come in. And the cynical part of me is saying, I'm surprised the boys have allowed that. But it is what it is. And I've said non-directional. I think we get, both type of directional, non-directional moves in a range, for IB. So fairly close to the range so far that we were talking. We said, let's use this 83 support and let's use that 93, throw a couple points on top of that resistance and play the range. And the news bar, if we go back to the news bar, you can see that we've stayed just under the news bar and we've taken out the low news bar. And we said we're going to use this line as our gap. So support box and fighting box, resistance box has come together so far. If you want to make adjustments mentally, and this has become our support box and this has become our fighting box. And these will change as the price moves, but that's now more accurate depiction of what we've got. Because we know we're fighting here and we see tails, but for sure we're fighting in this range right now. And then this so far is our resistance. We get above here, then we're back up here again. So basically we are, can we all agree that we're basically taking the end of yesterday's range, that afternoon range, and that's what we're trading right now. That's really what you want to see. Just above this, the head fake, and then come back and we're range trading. Top of the pipe so far, resistance. And I'm expecting, like I said earlier, I'm expecting probably we'll get some chop this morning. 10-minute chart here I'm looking at, over and under. If you want to look at the 5-minute chart, put it back on a 5. And you can see how choppy. And this is an average line that we want to pay attention to. Should be a magnet in here, about 86.5. Wrecking ball yesterday, bang. Up top, above this line, get under. You got to get under the blue line and hold it here to keep on going like it did yesterday. I'm not sure that's in the cards. I'm thinking much more neutrally. And I'm considering that yesterday and today, probably taking some risk off ahead of news. And 15-minute chart is just a mess, Globex. Got above it. Bang, here's our news bar. We're underneath the blue line. You got to stay here. So because it's so messy, sometimes we'll drop back and see if we can see anything with a little more clarity in like a 30. See, yesterday we were over and under. Still trying to hold this 83 on a 30-minute basis. And we can see a 60-minute chart, totally different picture. Over and under on the 60. We get under the blue line and we stay here. And obviously we can see this rain line that we've not come back to in a long time. And maybe this afternoon that will be more appropriate, but probably not right now. And you can see, and on a day like today, how if you have to search for a clear idea, then the charts really aren't overly helpful. So probably the 30 is the best right now to help us see perhaps what a bigger boy is thinking. Because we can see that yesterday we were challenging it, but then we got back up above it. So we already know based on this chart that this is trying to hold, and you got to get above the green and blue and red lines, and probably somewhat choppy just based on this chart. And here you can really see the power thrust in this move yesterday. Bang. And spent a little time underneath that bar, not much time over that bar. Let's see, I'm going to take this guy out and borrow it and show you what I'm referring to. And certainly not much time underneath it. So it tells me probably basic range, right? 80 trying to hold, and 91 up here trying to hold. And trade the range. I mean, really, that's all you can do. If you take all these moving averages out of here and just had those bars, that's what it would look like. Don't overtrade. So to wrap this one up, this is yesterday. Look at the dump right here. Bang. Look at this push. Profit taking, bang. And then we got the little push overnight. Come back down and test and out of here and kept on going. So we know that this 84 area, 83.75, we know that this was an area that was yesterday's angel defense. So we're retesting really yesterday's angel. In the middle so far from yesterday, from that poke back up here, is held so far. That was at 91. So putting the 2 days together kind of tells us that's a nice resistance zone for now. And then that doji just above it, 92.25. So we're relying on that for the short side, trying to retest overnight lows and this basically this doji bar from yesterday. And basically, I think what they're doing is keeping the longs certainly at bay. Any aggressive longs Consider this part of a shake and bake. Late gap down here at 82. 82.75 was the gap. Thereabouts, depending on your vendor, but it's going to be right in through here. So you start to get the risk and reward for that target. And even if you get it, we know that so far it's been, fast bounces out of here. So sometimes you're risking two to make two. That's the game you're playing. And if you play once or twice and you get it, then you don't have to trade all day long. That's such a misnomer. You're trying to get a couple of points and you spread your trades out throughout the day. Our society is so fast. Our thinking and our talking and our way of doing things and multitasking that it's hard just to focus on one trade at a time and then go sidelines and grab a cup of coffee and think about it. I mean, I know myself. I like it when the market's moving fast. My mind works so much better when the market's moving fast. Bang, bing, bing. Okay, there it is. That's what they're doing. I can do that so much easier rather than when you're stuck in molasses like this. And that's part of knowing who we are. Seek, thank you. You guys have great posts you guys are making and helping each other with. I like that. Just shy of our gap close. Never make it about any one trade. And remember, the closer you get to your destination, the less profit there is for that last point or two. And oftentimes that's where you get skinned. And that was the basis today of saying, let's think about that 83, 82 support, not even thinking down here at the angel, just trying to be reasonable and conservative and think small range. And we've got the end of the IB. If you've got a couple of points out of this, relax. Take a little stress off your body. If you're trying to buy at this level, understand today the game has been so far to try to hold on to the longs that are eager beaver and trying to get out of Dodge too, just as it was early trying to hold on to the shorts, squeeze them up here. So they've taken a range and tried to moderate the range. So rather than down in here, these bottom levels, they're trying to hold this and say, no, we want to be back here in this fighting range. Right? So support, fighting box, trying to get into the next box, the resistance box. And truthfully, this is the chop fest I thought would get for now. I don't think traders want to put on a lot of big positions ahead of news later. Just the way it is.